Actually, pinapakita namin din dito, ma'am, that when you look at when I was showing the slides a while ago, the October price were actually much cheaper.
Yes.
Wherein we harvested the bulk, about
Yes.
25% of the seasons. And the average price at that time for dried is 22 and the
Yes.
press is 19.
Which brings me
So
to the
that
point
means
you
if you
said.
say 22, we should still be having rice at 43, this well meal, 23 to 46 well meal.
Exactly. And that's why I'm puzzled sa monitoring nyo, ba't kayo pumapayag na ang pasehan ng mga nagbebenta ng bigas, yung pinakamataas na bili nila ng palay, when that's just the tail end. The bulk was sold at 22, 24. Mataas na yung 25. Pero siguro mga 10% lang ang nabenta at 27. So ba't yun ang ginagamit nila 27 times 2 of 54 pesos per kilo? The NFA naman, mahalaga talaga yung makabalik sila na they can be the price stabilizer. I mean, if right now, I think prices of palay went up because mas konti ang produce.
At
Right?
saka ma'am, yung 30 na sinasabi nila, that is already well dried and usually that is in intercity or some rice mill after yung resale na ho yan.
Yung 30.
Yung 30. Pagka hindi yan sa field yan. It's not in the field. Kasi actually the price of pag sa field pa yan baka mababa rin ng presyo kasi hindi na magandang mga at this time pagka yung ibang crop But anyway, ang pinopoint ko rin dito, ma'am, yung maliban doon sa we should still be seeing yung lower price. Ang nangyayari na nakita ko, yung question kanina ni Congressman Tolpo, parang nangyayari, yung presyo doon sa labas na pinakita ko kanina has a very big pressure on domestic prices. Maraming mga importers natin hindi na nag-import dahil nakita nila mas mura pag bumili sila sa domestic. So nag-agawan ngayon dito sa loob. Nag-agawan dito sa loob, tumaas ang presyo ng palay natin, which made many of our farmers very happy. This is the first time, Mr. Chair, that I did not hear farmers complaining of low price of palay during the wet season. Because if you look at the price, for example, if their cost of production is 14 or even less, and they can sell it at 19 or 20, their margin is bigger. So if they have 5 pesos times 40 times 40,000 kilograms, that's 20,000 for them. Whereas last year they only earned 10,000 because of the high cost of fertilizer. Now if they have 10 peso gain income times 50, that's 50,000. So there were many our farmers are very happy actually. When I went around, I asked our farmers, anybody who would like to complain about low price of palay? Please raise your hand. Nobody raised their hand.
Yes, Yusek, I recognize that. And I'm very happy for the farmers. They deserve that. But we cannot also just allow the capitalists to dictate those high prices at the expense of the consumers. And that's why we need the NFA. That's where the NFA comes in.
Madam Chair.
And then they are the stabilizer. Or you want to buy at 27? Sige, you sell at 54. No one's going to buy because NFA is selling at 29 or 32. I mean, that way, this capitalists will buy at the right price, not naman below 19, but 22 or 23. So everyone's happy. No one's making absurd amounts of money. Now, the reason the prices went up is alam ng mga middleman na kulangin yung import, kulang din yung supply ng harvest. So pinataas nila yung presyo, walang NFA to balance it off. So that's where the DA comes in now. And I think you can say, you should only sell rice at 45 or 47. I mean, you bought at 27, you overpriced yourself. But you shouldn't pass on, that to the consumer. I think that's the point I'm trying to make is the prices here, your estimated retail price, seem awfully high. It doesn't take into account the other byproducts that they make money from. Kasi sobra-sobra na po yung kita nila. That's just the point I'd like to make. So I'd just like to see an estimated cost from palay that includes the byproducts of the milling process so that we see the actual profits that go to them and how much they should be really selling without losing money. Could we
We will-
request that, Mr. Chair?
We will do that, Madam Chair. Mr. Chair. Madam
Yeah.
Chair.
Thank you, Kong Ria. Yes. Yes. Please proceed, Kong Ria. To be followed by the Honorable Jose Alvarez.
Yeah. Thank you, Yusek Sebastian. Mr. Chair, I'd just like to ask, I've been reading a lot and there are moves that they're saying that eggs should be sold by weight instead of by piece. Is this something that DA is looking at, or I read it in the by weight? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Francis Uehera.
Yes po. Regarding the idea of selling eggs by the kilo, matagal na po siyang sinuggest, matagal na po siyang pinag-uusapan sa industry. Unfortunately, hindi po siya nag-move, hindi po siya nag-progress because of certain reasons. Marami pong variables na hindi po masagot. Like for example, if you're going to weigh the eggs, kasama po ba yung packaging po nito? And when we talk about the packaging, iba po yung packaging ng farm, iba po yung packaging po noong, the viajeros, and also iba rin po ang packaging noong mga retailers natin. So, if you're going to sell eggs by the kilo, minimum of 3 times, maybe 4 times na titimbangin yung itlog. Unlike fruits, like yung banana or yung saging, kahit 10 beses natin kiluhin yung saging, saging pa rin po yan. Unfortunately with the eggs, the more handling, the more chances of breakage. And before po mabenta po ito sa consumers, marami na pong nabasag. That is just one. Also, yung consistency po nung timbang din po is question din. But the reason kung bakit po natin na-raise yung idea na yun, it's because of the inconsistency nga po ng standardization ng sizes po ng eggs in terms of weight. A lot of people, especially the consumers, are not aware na meron pong standard weight ang per size ang itlog. Alright? Also, sa wet market, if mag-iikot po tayo, marami pong nagbebenta ng itlog sa wet market nang wala pong specified sizes. Ang makikita lang po natin are different prices. So anong problema po dito? Ang problema po dito, like example, yung isang client namin ang binenta po niya doon sa retailer, isang size lang po ng itlog. Pagdating po doon sa pwesto, 3 na po yung presyo. So bumili po yung retailer, yung trader ng isang size, pero naging 3 na po siya sa market, naging 3 iba-ibang presyo po. So the consistency po nung egg weight per sizes, yun po yung problema. Now for us, the most logical and practical right now, we're not closing the doors. We're not closing the idea of selling eggs by the kilo. Although mahabang-haba pong consultations po ito, But just to address the immediate problem, siguro is yung awareness and to educate lang po the retailers and also the consumers na meron po pala tayong sinusunod na DTI standard regarding sa egg weights per size.
Thank you. Very exhaustive answer. I just wanted to hear yes or no, but I'm not for that either. I mean, a kilo of egg, ilan kaya yun 1 kilo of egg? Ang bigat nun. One last question. You said that there's a shortage of the price of eggs is high because of the avian flu, which is worldwide. How long does it take for our country to recover from this? Now we can go back to normal.
until makontrol po natin yung bird flu, hindi po magiging normal. Like what I've said earlier, increasing na po yung ating supply. But, pag kami tinamaan na naman po ng major outbreak ng bird flu, magkakaroon na naman po ng major deficit sa ating sa population po ng layer birds. So, mahirap po yung sagutin ng tanong until makontrol po natin yung local bird flu challenge po natin. Now, for a farm, pag tinamaan po kayo ng bird flu, minimum po is 1 year to recover, to repopulate. Kasi po, pagka kayo po, dalawa po yan, pag tinamaan po kayo ng bird flu, either to report or not. Pagka nag-report po kayo, mas matagal po kayo makakapag-recover kasi babantayan po ng government yung farm, may proseso. The unconfirmed, bakit po sila unconfirmed? Because they're not reporting. So, it's a different issue. So, yung recovery po nila, minimum po 1 year.
You said if they report, it will take longer. So, you're saying mas mainam wag mag-report?
Alright, the difference pagka nag-report tsaka hindi, yung hindi po nag-report, alright, pagka nag-report po kayo, 1 confirmed bird, papatayin na po lahat. And you will undergo yung process. Now, pag hindi po kayo nag-report, yung mga buhay po, mabebenta pa.
Delikado yun.
Yes. Yes. We are not recommending that. We are not tolerating that. But, kaya nga po kumalat. Tama po si Derek.
Your Honor, may I butt in? Diba? Dapat kung sana pong nag-positive, dapat po talaga i-report sa atin para magawan po ng karapatang solusyon. Hindi po yung sasabihin na hindi i-report tapos malalaman namin na tumawid na pala ng isla nandun na sa Visayas. Kasi nangyari po doon sa bird flu cases natin last year yan. Ang case po, galing Tarlac, inisbagel ng gabi, biniyahe, pagdating sa Capiz, positive. So sana po maiwasan. It doesn't mean naman po pag nag-report sila, itetest pa po yan. Kapag ang result talaga ay proven na positive, then we do the depopulation. Tapos po yan, meron po cleaning and disinfection, merong rest period. And then, itetest po natin yung surrounding areas if they are still positive. Siyempre, risk din po sa kanila na mag-alaga ulit, kaya po hindi tayo pumapayag. Unless po mag-negative na yung area, at then we can allow the farm owner po to stop again.
Sir, I'm not familiar with that industry, but is there insurance that covers that? I mean, for poultry growers, are there?
Yes, Sir Jason.
Chair, kaya nga po may reluctance ang mga poultry raisers at even hog raisers. Kasi walang insurance. Walang indemnification. Yung hindi pag-report, not only because para mas maiksi yung process ng recovery, yung hindi ka nagre-report, maibebenta mo pa yung buhay. Kasi pag nag-report ka, automatic papatayin lahat ng... Lalo sa baboy, merong 1, 3, 5 wala na pala yun, no? Basta yung kadikit na farm, i-observe din. So pag nag-report ka, pati yung katabi mong farm, magagalit sa'yo kasi babantayan sila. So tendency, because there is no indemnification, wag nang i-report para mabenta ka pa yung baboy ko.
Sir, when you say walang indemnification, hindi sila kumukuha ng insurance o walang insurance na nag-o-offer ng ganong klaseng coverage?
Sa ngayon po, wala.
None.
Just to follow up, I think sa ASF, di ba, it is done through PCIC already. But for avian influenza, Director Paul, hindi ba niya laking proposal na isama yun?
Meron pong proposals pero ang recommendation po ni DBM is kunin sa Quick Response Fund. So nakikiagaw pa ho kami doon sa pondo na nakalaan para sa mga emergencies. Ang request po sana namin may sarili siya. Yung po sa PCIC, Mr. Chair, hindi po siya sufficient or it does not reflect the true market value ng baboy. Kasi kung 150 po times 100 kilos, so 15,000 po yung cost ng baboy. Eh yun po, 5,000 lang ibabayad mo eh. So, kung mabenta po nila ng mas mababa, kasi kalahati, hindi kikita pa rin po siya doon sa pagbebenta sa labas versus po isurrender sa gobyerno.
Yes. Thank you very much, Director po. With the indulgence of the Honorable Jose Alvarez, quick. May point lang kasi na-raise si Chair Ria kanina. And if I may read, this was a statement from Asik Arnel de Mesa. Mataas o bumper iyong ating harvest ngayong wet season. Magmula po noong katapusan ng Agosto, ngayong Setyembre hanggang Oktubre hanggang Nobyembre, ay inaasahan po natin na talagang wala po tayong pagsipa ng presyo. And ito, according to Asik de Mesa, no rise in rice prices is expected, but on the contrary, rice prices continue to rise. So I'm sure this is the position. You share the same position siguro. This is a statement from the Department of Agriculture. May I get a response, Yusek Leo? Anong nangyari dito?
What we have already seen, Mr. Chair, that the prices continue to move up because of the pressure, probably internal and external, that's pulling the prices.
Yes, but is it possible? Sige, okay na yun, Yusek. I think I understand completely naman yung presentation nyo. But just to ask, currently sa point ni Congresswoman Ria Vergara, possible ba may nagbebenta ng bigas ngayon na stock niya noon? Which means nabili niya ng mura. Pero yung pinipresyo niya ngayon,
If you look at the prices at the, Mr. Chair, if you look at the prices at the provincial and regional level, they are much lower than in Metro Manila. Ang problema natin talaga nakikita ko dito sa Metro Manila.
so may
Because the
possible,
rice,
may nagmamanipulate pa rin.
the rice has to be brought to Metro
Is that
Manila.
a valid observation also, a possible observation? The prices currently now are somehow manipulated.
I don't know what that is the right term.
Bumper stock nga eh. And we had a good harvest. So, ayun, si Ms. Weng could probably help us out in this query.
With the prices right now as presented po, at even with the kung may price manipulation, there's none anymore. Dahil ang ano po natin, tinanggal po natin yung price cap pero wala po tayong supply ng mabili na ng palay.
Yes,
But yung ngayon po yung pagbili namin ng palay,
This is now that's only about 15%.
tapos yung palay po na nabili namin nung mga
Only
nakaraan
15%.
is
Wait,
already-
tama, Ms. Weng, only 15% na lang yan. We're talking about the last 15% harvested.
Opo. Sir, yung pong mga bodega ngayon o yung mga, actually yung mga rice miller ngayon, halos kukonti na po yung supply ng palay.
So possible may stocks pa nga that have been harvested
Palay,
around October?
wala na po halos.
Imposible.
Meron po kaming mga stocks but it continues na ginigiling. Mabilis po yung turnover ng paggiling at paglabas dun sa merkado. Actually nga po, ang problema namin ngayon is yung supply, paano aabot ito. So that's why it's very important also na sana po may magdatingan na, kagaya po nung nabanggit ni Yoko, that they are going to import rice through the G2P, and we just hope that it's going to be distributed around the country para po ma-stabilize yung presyo. Sa totoo po, kaya po kami napipilitan na bumili ng mataas na palay coming from the palay traders already dahil wala po kaming gigilingin. Ang mangyayari po nun, with that of yung kailangan naming i-feed sa aming rice miller, baka po wala kaming gilingin doon at wala kaming masupply. So continuous po yung pag-ikot ng pagbili namin ng palay at the same time pag-release doon sa merkado. Hindi na pagka po kami nag-stock, mas mahirap po sa amin ito. At the same time, mas mahal po sa amin ito dahil yung interest rate po ay pumapalo, kumakarga po ito. At the same time po, yung kailangan po namin ma-release yung stocks namin para po umikot yung pera at nang makabili po kami uli ng stocks ng palay.
Okay. Although I'm still, anyway, thank you, Ms. Weng. medyo confusing lang sa akin. Kasi on that premise, araw-araw, giling, out, out, paubos na siguro yung supply natin. I mean, following that logic, na they're stuck somewhere, di ba? Di ba, Yusek?
Actually, Mr. Chair, we have to be very clear. The problem is not supply. It's actually a price. The low price rice are disappearing. The regular and the well-milled. They are migrating to the premium and special. And if you go around, even the news, if you look at the news, when you watch the TV, and they show you the price of rice in the market, you look at the background. You know, the background, the sacks full of rice stuck behind the rice that is being sold. Yeah, so it's not a problem of supply. It's just that the regular and the well-milled, the supply is becoming limited.
Okay, so yung well-milled ang walang nag-ano.
Yes, and
They're deviating
special,
from well-milled to premium.
premium and special.
Okay, sige. Anyway, I will thank you so much, Honorable Jose Pepito Alvarez.
Sige. Ako short lang, Leo, at saka taga-NFA. Watching yung presentation, okay naman po lahat yung sinasabi nyo. Kaya lang, siyempre, nababahala kami sa pataas ng presyo. Tama ka, Metro Manila. Palawan, tumataas na rin. Musunod dito. Bakit? Wala masyadong nagtatanim doon. Now, given the verbal assurances from NFA and the verbal information from NFA that they're doing something, then kayo din doon sa mga tables na pinakita ninyo, we practically understand the situation. Ano ba ang garantiya natin? Doon muna ako sa kabila. Ano ba yung maitulong namin sa inyo dito sa Kongreso? Like, ano ba yung gusto nyo amendment sa RTL? Ano ba yung ibang batas na gusto ninyong ipasa natin by next year dito? Kasi halos wala lang nag-import ng rice dahil natatakot. Kasi nire-read ni Congressman Tolpo. I mean, I'm not being funny, but katotohanan, karamihan sa nakausap ko mga importers, natakot sila na pagbintangan na naku-hoard. No? So, dito naman kami, we are at your service. Sana kung ano yung mga kailangan ninyo, tulad ng pag-amin ng RTL na yan, para kung yung meron kayong excess funds towards last quarter, convert natin yan to fertilizer, to invest na voucher ang pamigay nyo sa probinsya. Wala namang available fertilizer na mabili doon. I mean, meron, pero hindi yung tukma. Di ba? Sa rice, urea, NPK, or sa corn, 1620. Totoo, meron kayong voucher pinamimigay. Pero ilan lang yung supply doon sa maliliit na tindahan. So, naintindihan natin yung problema. So, we're expecting, Mr. Chair, sana ma-request natin yung DA, NFA, ano ba yung mga kailangan nilang tulong natin para magawa natin sa itong first quarter na opening natin sa next session. Para pag tumaas pa uli yung bigas, by June, July, pag nag-100 yung bigas, kasama na tayo doon sa hindi tumulong sa kanila. Na para matulungan natin sila, bigyan natin sa kanila on the first semester anong kailangan nilang batas para pasa natin sa Senado. Salak natin doon kasi Cynthia Villar kung gusto niyang payagan niyang maamin yung RTL. Si baby niya yun Diba? Si Cleo? Kasi pag wala kaming ginawa, puro lang kami totoo po yun, nakausap ko maraming importer. Ayaw na lang muna mag-import. Dahil pinapatulpo ninyo Sama pa si speaker. So, natatakot dahil, di ba? Confiscate, bigay sa mga mahihirap. Sana walang ganon mangyayari for next year. Yung si Cleo, kung ikaw yung sa Rice Industry Development, inaasahan namin na after giving you all the tools, in order to promote your industry, sana by June, July, hindi na natin asahan na sumobra pa tayo kasi filing na ho namin sa October. Pag naging 100 yung bigas, hindi lang si Pangulo ang tatamaan. Diba? Sabihin ng mga constituents namin, ikaw, Mr. Chairman, ba't wala kang ginawa? Hindi mo tinulungan yung DA para maging effective sila. Yun isa yan So, nandito kami para tumulong. Now, kung hindi kayo mag-submit sa amin kung anong gusto niyong baguhin para to address kung ano yung shortfall at saka yung price squeeze natin for next year, wala kami magawa. Kung hindi, we will lay the blame on you. But today, we are not finding faults. Kasi you explain fully na ganyan ang nangyayari. Sige, accepted na yun. Pero sana, by next year, sana masurpass natin yung Disyembre na hindi man lang lumagpas sa 70 yung presyo ng bigas. Okay, sana Okay. By next year, we're hoping that all your forecast, all your PSA figures are correct. Then, siyempre, we hope that Vietnam and Thailand will open up a little bit. We know they are short of water now and production has really gone down, which I have warned this committee January, February pa to already encourage imports. Nobody listen to me because I am a dirty old man talking nonsense. May opisina ako sa Vietnam, meron akong listening post doon. Meron din ako mga kaibigan sa Thailand. So, nalalaman ko yung world market. So, okay. So, ang atin lang, Mr. Chair, we don't want na next year, hindi lang si Pangulo affected nito. Pati tayo, mga congressman kayo, wala kayong ginawa dyan. 100 ang presyo ng bigas. Mag-resign na kayo. Ayaw namin nun. Gusto namin, ibigyan namin sa inyo kung ano kailangan ninyo para kayo yung mag-resign pag hindi ninyo. Tama ba? Si Cleo? Kasi daldal tayo ng daldal dito, pagkatapos hindi namin binigay kung ano yung tool na kailangan ninyo, siyempre, sisihin nyo kami. Di ba? Mintas nandito kami, nandito sa chairman, pag-aralan namin yun. Ano ba naman yun? Kung walang mag-iimbita over lunch or dinner, I will always be available para mapag-usapan natin yan. Kayo, one team sa agriculture, kami din dito sa committee ng agriculture, mapag-usapan natin para paisa lang natin yan by next year. So, point number 2 yun. Number 3 po, yung sinasabi kong wag sana maging 100 ang presyo ng bigas, even in Metro Manila, kasi sunura na po yan So, siguruhin lang ninyo na wala tayong sisihan. Dahil sigurado, meron na kayong Secretary of Agriculture. Ngayon, siyempre, hindi na kayo pwede magturo. Wala kami Secretary of Agriculture. Ganito lang sinabi ng Presidente. Ayun si Cleo, I'm particularly referring this to you na kung maaari, bigay mo sa amin yung pangangailangan mo and then, pagtulungan natin na hindi abot 100 ang presyo ng bigas by next year. Because to tell you very honestly, if Thailand and Vietnam do not loosen up on their exports, very possible yung 100 by next year. Kasi I'm always flying Palawan has large, yung especially yung distrito ko, 50,000 hectares of rice land from Aburlan down to Batarasa, Rizal, and Quezon. Naawa ako sa mga farmers, kitang-kita ko, hindi lahat nakatanim Bakit? Meron mga traktora, mahal naman ang diesel. Tapos, mayroon pa kaming isang squeeze doon. Yung tourism namin sa north is drawing the southern people, yung mga farmers namin. Sinong gusto mong tanim ng palay like Palawan? At na-open up ko na kay Admin Gillian, natulungan na yung Palawan. Ngayon, kakausapin ko na Secretary Dico na kung maaari, bigyan ng pansin yung 50,000 hectares namin sa Palawan dahil halos walang bagyo doon sa south. And easily, with true croppings, we can produce 1 million tons. Ang production namin doon, 60, 70 lang, pinakamaganda yung si Cleo. Bakit? Sama-sama na soil namin, kulang sa fertilization. And imbis na planting rice na magandang distansya, wala akong nakikita kayo. very, very siguro, wala pang 10% of the 50,000 hectares in the south are planting the correct way of planting. Sabog lang yung si Cleo, which, alam mo naman ang sabog. Sa sabog doon, pasyurte na makakuha ka ng 50, 60 kabans per hectare na palay. So, lastly, yung area ko sa Palawan at 50,000 hectares, pag-usapan namin ni Admin Gillian at saka tuloy na ako ay sekretary. Sana nandyan ka, si Cleo, pag-usapan natin. Kasi I can produce with the right inputs, with the right, kasi sabi ko yung pressure namin sa tourism, ang isang farm worker nung araw, nagsusweldo ngayon ng 800 pesos per day. Anong ginagawa? Patikin-tikin lang ng bangka. Bakit? Dami namin turista sa North. So, anong gagawin natin? We have to solve this problem. I'm talking about my parochial concern. Problem in Palawan, dahil I can contribute 50,000 hectares in the south. I can contribute 1 million kabans. Sayang. Sayang. So, yun lang, Mr. Chair. Wala naman ako masyadong napasa. Huwag na nila tayo sisihin after we give them all the tools. Gumama ng yung 100 pa yung presyo. Ay,
Chair Alvarez, siguro po para magtulungan tayo, isa sa kailangan natin gawin, hingan talaga natin sa DBM na taasan ang budget ng agriculture.
wala mang problema. Kaya dapat nga
that's
magagaling
always-
sa kanila.
Kasi kaya talo tayo ng Vietnam, Thailand, ang lakas ng, ang taas ng DA. Right?
Yes.
You said, you're like,
Mr. Chair.
you're doing so much with so little resources.
Yes,
Can
can we get the reaction, Yusek Leo?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with the comments of Congressman Alvarez. Actually, Palawan, it has a very big potential. It's among the top 20 provinces when it comes to rice production now, except that it is very far behind Nueva Ecija. But your production, Mr. Chair, Congressman Alvarez, is about 300,000 metric tons already. So if we can, your 1 million, I think, is attainable if we can increase the production. And the beautiful thing about Palawan also is that it's not hit by typhoons. So if you have good irrigation, good water, plus good management practices, you can have you can attain yield similar to the Ecija, which is about 7 tons per hectare. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, so lastly, Mr. Chair, pwede ba ikaw na mag-initiate, sama tayo?
Yes.
Invite all these people for yung small group. Kasi sa malaking ito, pag-separate natin today, wala na bukas. Iba na naman pinag-usapan eh. Kailangan tutukan na natin to. Magtulungan na tayo. Let's then give.
Mr. Chair, regarding the RTL, I think the Secretary has already asked us to provide inputs to the proposed amendments to RTL, and our PRS, Policy Research Group, is already collating. Yeah. And the budget, I think the Secretary has also prepared a request for additional budget for infrastructure, especially on the logistics side, dryers, drying facilities, silo warehouses. Yeah. Those kinds of infrastructure that will greatly help our.
Are you aware, Yusek Leo, if NIA is one of them being pushed
for
by-
irrigation?
For irrigation.
Yeah, I think irrigation is very important, Mr. Chair. The key to planting rice is water. So we need good irrigation. The reason why Nueva Ecija is attaining average of 7 tons per hectare is because it has a good irrigation facilities, good irrigation system. And in Palawan, Samar, Leyte, they still have good rivers that can be tapped for irrigation, good water source that we are not fully utilizing. Then in Palawan, you get also good solar radiation. It's very, very hot and sunny in that area.
Yes, thank you, Yusek Leo. Yes, thank you, Honorable Jose Pepito Alvarez. Siguro baka, could you share with us, I think, si Director Rod Bioco would have a separate one. Comments on RTL or your suggestions to further strengthen? Or...
Yes, Mr. Chair. No? First is with Congressman Alvarez. We already pledged, no? I personally pledged to them that NFA is going to invest a lot in the post-harvest and storage in Palawan to at least accommodate 20,000 hectares initially. No? So this would involve more than $1 billion investment, no? For post-harvest, and that would address also the issue of availability of labor, because we cannot do manual labor on solar drying anymore. No? So it has to be mechanized. So we're committed to that, sir. And then on the policy side, of course, the RTL will be reviewed, no? And that's there are already steps being undertaken. But on top of
Kasama
that,
kayo doon, admin?
yes,
You are part, okay.
yeah, we're going to give our own recommendation also as NFA. But on top of that, we are going to request Congress to amend some provision of 11301 or the 4-Piece Act. No? So we're looking at some of the budgets of 4-Piece and expand it on that rice allowance portion, no? Which is about a little over 30 billion. What we want is, while we build the buffer stock, that is intended with regular offtake from that buffer stock for the poor. No? So that's why we always, we reiterated, the President reiterated that when we buffer stock, we actually buffer stock for the poor. Now, that is the strategy of the administration that we're going to put in as a feature of NFA, that we're going to stabilize the market indirectly but more strategically. No? What I refer to this is that we displace that bottom 20% of society by providing them physical stock, no, of rice instead of cash, so that 30 billion will not brought to the market and put more pressure on the rice prices. And that is a more strategic way to stabilize price, no? What we call in economics a quantitative easing, no? When you remove them out of the market, no? So that's one strategy of the administration, but it has to be big enough to have an impact, no? So that's the strategy also of Indonesia right now, to put some reprieve in the price, no? And that's why they are frantically trying to expand the supply. Unfortunately, it cannot be coming from the local source at this time because they have shortfall in production. We also are going to have issues with that. That's why we need to expand production and look at areas like Palawan, some in Leyte, and then Caraga to expand production with full support on the post-harvest and storage. No? So what we need from the changes in the law is that instead of cash transfer, no, and then limited only to the 4-piece, we give them rice instead, no, through NFA, and then pass it. In fact, I have a meeting right after this with Secretary Rex, and we're going to discuss. Part of the discussion is that okay, in principle, okay na including si Secretary Rex Gatchalian, but he needs the changes in the law because he's restricted by the 4-Piece Act.
Yes, then propose it.
Yes.
Give us what you need.
Okay, sir. So,
Yes.
yes,
I
sir.
mean, patulong na rin, ano, we've encountered this proposal before. May reactions lang from the 4-piece beneficiaries. So, one is, how would it be distributed? I think it's quite a logistical nightmare.
Yes.
Anyway, kaya nyo naman yun, ano, yung details of it, yung tracking services para mapalapit mo dun sa magiging beneficiary. So, please include in your write-up
Yes.
your solutions to those mga obstacles. Tsaka it will help you roll your current budget, ano, for procurement.
Yes.
Di ba? Tama. So, mas magandang...
Just to kuha lang part of the argument, Mr. Chair, no? Kasi ang sinasabi, it's easier to distribute cash through ATM. Pero wala namang ATM sa bundok, eh. So bababa pa rin sila, eh. So, so we have to find a way talaga. But this is a really strategic way to put lesser pressure on rice prices by removing them out of the market. So until we're rich enough that we don't, price is not an issue. Rice price is not an issue anymore. So, and
Thank you, Admin. Anyway, we're thankful din dun sa ano no, dun sa naging decision nung administration, the board, na tumaas yung yung buying price natin sa farmers. So please include admin yung issues that you see will be a challenge for the distribution sa rice. So thank you. And then sa RTL, Yusek Leong, paano na lang please. I think can I also get the some of the comments in writing then, Ma'am Weng? Sa RTL, how you could improve it, di ba?
Yes, but we will submit po.
Some of your challenges as well, di ba?
Recommendation as well for the RTL.
Please, thank you. Same with sa Sinan, Sir Jason. At saka may acknowledge our former colleague and former Secretary Kapaeng Mariano.
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good po sa inyong lahat.
So at this point, may we now recognize the Honorable Tina Pancho.
Mr. Chair, good afternoon po. Sa amin po kasi sa Bulacan, may nakakausap po kami ng mga magsasaka. So ang sinasabi po nila, bakit hindi bili ng gobyerno o ng NFA directly yung palay sa magsasaka sa tamang presyo? Kasi kung makikita po natin, gumagamit po kayo ng pondo po ng bayan, ng budget ng bayan, ibinibili niyo po ng pataba. Ibinibigay niyo po sa magsasaka. Sa totoo lang po, napakapangit ng pataba pong ipinamimigay ng ng gobyerno po natin. Ngayon po, nagbibigay din po kayo ng mga makina, ang DA. Pero kung ibigay niyo naman po, taon ang inaabot. At kung pupunta nga po kayo sa warehouse ng DA, makikita niyo po doon yung mga makinarya na inulat inaraw, pumapakat na yung makina. Ay bakit ayaw pa pong ipamigay ng pakinabangan po ng ating po mga magsasaka? Nagbibigay din po kayo ng subsidy po, ng voucher po sa atin sa fuel. So, yung mga pera po na yan, ginagamit natin bilang tulong, ayuda sa magsasaka. Pero ang hinihingi ng magsasaka, bilhin nyo na sa kanila ng direkta. Pag binili nyo po kasi na ng direkta sa tamang presyo, makakaipon sila ng pera eh. Makabibili sila ng pataba na gusto nila, hindi yung gusto ninyong ipamigay. At baka kung kumita po sila ng maganda, baka sila na rin ang bumili ng makinarya. Hindi po hintayin yung parang awa na ginagawa nyo silang kawawa na inihintay po yung makina. Ayaw nyo pa pong ipamigay yung makina. At baka dumating din po yung pagkakataon na ang magsasaka mismo, hindi na nila ibebenta yung kanilang lupa para maging subdivision, para maging industrial or commercial area. Kasi nabibili ng tama, nagkakapera po sila. Nga po, pinag-uusapan, dadagdagan ng pondo nyo. Saan nyo po gagamitin? Diba? Magpapamigay na naman kayo ng bigas. Anong klaseng bigas? Nagpamigay nga po kayong bigas minsan sa mga guro. Ang pangit po ng bigas na pinamigay. Sabi nga ng mga guro, sabi nga ng mga guro, sana ginawa nila ng 2,000, kami ang bumili ng bigas na kaya namin kainin. Hindi ko ano na lang po ang ibinibigay. So nasubukan niyo na po ba? Nagkaroon na po ba kayo ng pilot study na bilhin mismo sa magsasaka sa tamang halaga yung kanila pong palay? At wag na po silang pakialaman sa fertilizer. Sila na bibili. Nagawa niyo na po ba yun?
Yusek Leo? Sa bigas, I think sa machineries, may katanungan
Mr.
yata.
Chair, Madam Congresswoman,
Yes, po.
we are actually changing the. I agree with a lot of your observations about fertilizers, etc. That's why the way we are moving now, Mr. Chair and Madam Congresswoman, is that we would like farmers' choice when it comes to fertilizer.
Excuse me, pero hindi niyo po binibigay yung tama eh.
You know, we are moving towards farmers' choice. So we are clustering farms and providing them the voucher, not the paper voucher anymore, the digital voucher using the registration once they are clustered.
Pero sino po manusunod dun sa patapa? Kayo pa rin po ba?
No,
Kayo
it will be
mag-specify what kind of
farmer's
fertilizer they will
choice.
use?
Farmer's choice.
So farmer's choice.
There will be a voucher, and they can go to the merchant and select the fertilizer that they want, which is suitable to their condition. And we are moving towards that direction because we are seeing that we are missing a lot of technologies more appropriate and more desired by the farmers. We've tested a lot of technologies, but every now and then we do bidding. And the bidder, the product that usually win during bidding is the cheapest. But the cheapest is not necessarily the most appropriate one. So we are moving away from that by going into the digital voucher. It will be linked to their ID. There's a Philippine. I have a sample here, Madam Chair. It's like this one. It has a chip and it also has a QR code. So farmers have this ID. They are clustered. They can join together and negotiate as one to any merchant and select the fertilizer or fertilizer.
Mr.
Or
Chair,
input
how
they
can
want.
they avail that card?
This is part of the budget that has been approved by Congress, part of the GAP for 2024. So we will start implementing this with the 2024 budget.
Tanong ko lang, Yusek Leo, dagdag ko lang, kung kasama ka sa RSBSA, entitled ka sa card na yan.
Yes, and
So magme-member mo na po kayo.
farmers are already members, Madam Chair, Madam Congresswoman.
Eh, paano po yung, yung direktang pagbili ng pali po sa magsasaka?
That is the program that NFA is trying to do also, Madam Congresswoman, except that because of the very high price of palay this year, they were not able to buy so much. But that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to link, for example, the assistance that we are providing to the procurement of NFA. So, for example, since NFA is always being out-competed by the private sector, we are trying to link the assistance that we are providing, the subsidies that we are providing to the farmers, to them selling also to NFA. We would like to encourage farmers to sell because NFA has to maintain a buffer stock.
Siguro po sir, pwede nyo tanggalin yung ibang mga sa tingin nyo ay nakatutulong pero hindi naman. Idagdag nyo sa pambili po ng palay. Directly sa magsasaka at the right price po.
Mr. Chair, in behalf of NFA, we consulted our farmers, including, in fact, KMP, no, about the prices. And we determined that the win-win solution that for NFA to increase from 19 pesos to 23, no? Because more than that, it's going to be a big burden now to the consumers because NFA, in effect, will also influence the private sector in buying even higher. No? NFA normally exceeds its buying target, no? Because of Republic Act 7607, the Magna Carta of Small Farmers. The government is supposed to give a guaranteed price to the farmers. So kung satisfied sila, tatakbuhan sila, that's the safety net of the farmer. As much as 14 billion we bought in 2019, 2020, you know, double the original budget of NFA. So we covered it through borrowings, you know. We have a 50 billion credit line with Land Bank and DBP to make sure that if there is a queue, no, for farmers willing to or wanted to buy to sell their produce to NFA, even if we exceed our budget, because we have an open-ended budget because of that guarantee that we give, no, the government guarantee to the farmers. So only recently that we were not able to buy in the last 2 years, no, because the price of NFA is not competitive, no, compared to the private sector. Costs have already gone up, and prices of palay has already gone up. That's why we updated. But as much as we want to have a higher price for our farmers, even at 25 pesos, no? But that would spell 50 pesos retail price, which is not consistent with our declaration on the price cap, which is only 41 to 45. And at that price, yung cost kasi ng farmers as shown 15 pesos lang, no? At 23 they're making already 8 pesos. Sa 4 tons per hectare, they can easily make more than 30,000 per season. But at that level, that's only the safety net na revenue for the farmers. So, kung makakabenta sila ng mas mataas sa private sector, then well and good, we've done our part already as government, no? Because we're parang sinasangga na ng gobyerno yung presyo. Eh nung nagkaroon ng price up, bumagsak yan below 21 pesos to ang presyo ng palay at the start nung harvest season nung September. And that's why the President was quick enough to make sure that that fall in palay prices should be corrected by increasing the guaranteed price of NFA, no? Ginawang 23, but as soon as the price cap was released, the true value of the palay or the intrinsic value sumipa yon to 24-25, no? Thereby making NFA irrelevant in the market, no? Because farmers are making more money outside government na procurement price, no? So yun yung nangyayari sa atin doon, because we're also limited by our policies that we cannot chase after the palay prices. If palay prices are already high enough for farmers to be happy, according to our president, why should we bring it up even higher and we become inflationary? No? And inflation should not be driven by government, but by the private sector. Hayaan tumaas. Kung tumaas talaga yung presyo ng palay, and then thereby the rice prices, that is because of the market. It's not because of government anymore, no? So magiging kasalanan pa yan ng gobyerno kung ang gobyerno ang nagpapataas. At nangyari na yan sa Indonesia, and that's why they surrendered and they just corrected it by importing, no? Kasi para ma-expand yung supply and ma-correct yung stability ng supply and hopefully mag-stabilize yung price ng bigas nila, no? And that's also the same course supposedly NFA should do, no? But unfortunately with RTL, we can leave it only to the private sector. Pag hindi naman sila mag-import because prices are too high in the world market, then we will be all tying up our hands, no? Now we leave it up to the mercy of the market for prices to go up, no? And then tawag nito yung inability natin and the dilemma of the administration. If we put up an emergency, that will even panic when there is enough supply for everybody. But the problem, of course, there's a tight supply. When there's tight supply, there's always a pressure, upward pressure sa prices, and that we cannot help. That's part of the dynamics ng market. And the only way talaga is to bring in more supply into the market para bumaba yung presyo, no? So, ang problema lang, kahit na maglagay ng supply from abroad, no, to expand the supply, mahal naman din yung galing sa abroad, eh. And that will even exacerbate the problem because in a sense, because that will dictate also local prices. Ang kinatatakutan lang namin as a risk management agency, yung palay kasi natin sa September, October, November, dapat paabutin natin yan ng March, no? Eh kung walang masyadong importation, baka maubos yan earlier, no? So we can only produce 10 months of our national consumption. So we need to import, no? So we need to import as much as 2.5 to 3 months of our consumption to stabilize supply and hence stabilize price, no, in the process. So yun yung dilemma because we cannot simply intervene in the market. Yes, we are still as an agency tasked to stabilize palay prices in favor of our farmers, and which we did. And I think in fairness sa NFA, especially in the last 4 years, they did a good job on that. But in the last, in terms of rice prices, milled rice, hindi na trabaho yun ng NFA, no? So it's market driven supposedly, and that was the nature of the RTL. And for me personally, no, that's good if things are normal. When things are not normal, it's not appropriate for that kind of law. And unfortunately, things are not normal in these days with climate change, geopolitical tensions, supply chain disruption through pandemic or whatever, war and trade sanctions. So many things are ongoing that we have to protect ourselves, and the government should be armed to intervene in the market. It cannot be purist that you just allow the private sector to correct the market. And that's, I think, the weakness of that law. No? So somehow the government, the administration, has to be able to come up with the tools it needs to intervene and correct the market. And that's what many nations are doing, especially our neighbor Indonesia. No? They strengthened their NFA in preparation for all this disruption, starting nung pandemic, while we're trying to cut naman ang sa atin. No? So moving this different opposite direction. So that's why we're trying to introduce now that legislation, proposed legislation to Congress to correct that. But in the meantime, we are also under pressure that we cannot price too high. No? When we go to the Senate, we got a lot of flack why we increase it to 23 pesos. No? And I think we had a discussion with the group, with several leaders, including Kapa and Mariano, that that price 23 was supposed to be the win-win solution. No? And yet, of course, we didn't realize that prices really went up as much as 26 to 30 pesos. So making us irrelevant in the market. But that's not a bad thing by itself. We should be happy for our farmers, who are struggling with the high cost of production. So yun yung stand natin, ma'am, sa Your Honor, sa when it comes to NFA. And we're a different type of agency because we're supposed to handle risk management as well.
Yes, please, Pamela.
Yeah. Are you in favor of extending the 10 billion funding for rice farmers from the tariffs that we get from the imported rice once we amend this? Because the rice tariffication law, it only has a 6-year period for using the tariffs from the imported rice to empower and improve the efficiency of our local farmers. Would that be in your proposal to extend that 6-year fund, 10 billion fund for local rice, for Filipino rice farmers exclusively? Well, maybe that's
Mr.
not-
Chair, this is just probably my opinion, and I might be wrong, but we have already discussion about some of the features of RCEP. No? We're now already generating more than 20 billion. In fact, this year maybe close to 30 billion from the tariff of rice because of the high prices and the bigger volume. No? So, yung first 10 billion of that is guaranteed under RCEP for special procurement for seeds, equipment, and other stuff. No? And then the rest is for the RFFA, Rice Farmer Financial Assistance. And this is where the President is thinking that, it would be more efficient if a big portion of that will be channeled through NFA so that NFA will be able to buy more at a higher price, to buy more palay, to make sure that we have a buffer stock in the process because of that dilemma. So yun ang tinitingnan ngayon ng Pangulo, and we're waiting for full discussion on that, on how we will request Congress for the amendments in the law.
Yes, and I think in one hearing, it was also Chair Enverga that mentioned that maybe it would be a good idea to all the beneficiaries of like the equipment that PhilMec has been giving and all the subsidies that the DA has given, farmers should allocate a certain portion of their produce. I think, Mr. Chair, you said mga 25% at a fair price, like 22, 23. Means so they give back rin to the government. Not everything will be sold at a profit. I mean, that's something, Mr. Chair, I remember that's something you recommended. Yes. I hope you include that in your proposed amendment.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Be sure that makakain ng tao yung rice coming from NFA. Kasi there's a wrong connotation na when it's NFA, parang ang pangit, hindi mo talaga makakain. So just be sure that the people can eat the rice.
yes, I think may mga interventions na kayo, admin, dun sa mga inaamag, yun nga, one of the concerns din sa DSWD, nung 4-piece beneficiaries. We encountered a long time ago. So, I'm sure you have...
I would like to reply on that, Mr. Chair, no? Your Honor. We've completed almost 800,000 sacks, no? 50 kilo equivalent per sack. Distribution under the one-time rice allowance given by the President, no, to all government employees. No? And in particular, for the teachers, we've already worked closely with Dept that all the withdrawal of NFA rice for that program, they have to check from our warehouse for the quality, no? And then, if ever,
Excuse me, who will check that?
yung
Yung teacher?
yung mga focal person nila, no? Like in one school, they send a representative to check all the rice.
Why do you have to check that? Why don't you give the best for the teachers?
Yes, we were giving the best, Your Honor.
So, ba't kailan pa pong i-check?
Just to make sure, so that all, complete staff work.
Not to make sure, be sure.
Yeah.
Don't you give the best to the teachers? Bakit i-check pa? Di doble trabaho po sa teacher yan.
There are some other documentary concerns, Mr. Your Honor, and we also guarantee to them that if they have complaints or they're not satisfied with the quality, we will be replacing the
When?
rice.
Right away?
No?
On
Sorry.
that day? Or they have to go back for another day? They
Yeah.
have to come back?
Yeah, we have assigned nag-assign sila ng mga focal person sa amin na
No,
para
sir.
kung may mga complaints,
No,
they will-
sir. Excuse me. Pagdating po sa mga guro, bigyan na po natin yung the best. Huwag
Yes.
na po tayong
Yes.
pabalikin pa sila kasi merong complaint. Why don't you give the best to the teachers? That's my point, Mr. Chair.
Yes, we gave the best, ma'am.
Bakit kailangan
And-
may focal person just to be sure that your rice is of good quality, di ba?
They have focal person, Your Honor, because they might be withdrawing 50 sacks, no, not one sack at a time, no. So they arrange for the delivery of the trucks of the rice, no. So may binubuo nila yan grupo-grupo, no. So meron silang representative for each group, usually by school level, and kung merong mga complaints, they tell us, no. So we will be glad to replace them. And so far, we have not received any complaints, no, from them. So kung meron mga complaints, ma'am, please let us know, no. So for now, there is no record of complaints. There were some, yeah, actually, but we addressed that already. But very, very small number. And meron naman talagang kung may nakakuan doon, naka-mix doon na ano, but somehow na-miss doon sa pag-check. But we already told them that we would be glad to replace. But so far, we have no official complaint that was not addressed.
Kung Tina, galing to definitely sa NFA Bulacan, ano?
Opo, nag-complain po sila. Sana pinera na lang daw sila bumili ng rice nila.
Anyway,
Kasi in the
admin,
first
baka you could
place-
just have a look, can you talk to the manager of the particular branch? Paki-check naman yung kasi may mga issues lang na, di ba? Para ma-double check lang yung stock and the storage,
Kasi inintay po nila, whole day nilang naintay sa buong maghapon eh. Then they will receive na pangit na rice. Di
So,
ba?
yes, can we get a commitment from NFA?
At saka
Paki-double check, baka mamaya there are other stocks na ganun din ng yung currently.
Kasi during the time, ang president pa po natin ang secretary during the time. So, mapipintasan po ang ating pong Pangulo sa kapabayaan po ng binigay na NFA rice ng NFA. Kasi hindi ko makita yung logic na i-check. Bakit i-check? Ibibigay mo nga sa teacher eh. Dapat maganda na yun in the first place.
Yes, Your Honor, that was the presumption. So we will be glad to investigate, and hopefully we could identify where the source of the problem is. But for now, we have not received any formal complaint that we have not addressed. So yun na nga ang yun na nga problema, ma'am. That's why we're trying to...
Hindi nga, masyado kayo sa theory. Bakit mo kailangan i-check? Eh, ibibigay mo na nga sa guru yun. Ano yung pag ibinigay? Sa guru mo na nga ibibigay sa teachers, ba't kailangan pa i-check na maganda? In the first place, dapat maganda na yun. Puro tayo theories eh. Burikiin mo na yan. Pag pangit, wag mong ipagay. Pag may patawag mo ng mga teachers, burikiin mo. Pag maganda eh, tawagin mo, pamigay mo na. So simple as that. Ang daming explanation eh. Mr.
Address that be recognized. Actually, the rights that we are issuing to government employees through OTRA are the best quality of rice. Ito, kaya namin pinakikita sa kanila because before it leaves our warehouses, nakita nila yung quality. Mahirap kasi kung nasa labas na ang bigas, saka kami mag-argumento sa quality. We really choose the best quality NFA rice para dyan. In fact, we milled our stocks in Mindoro para madala dito sa NCR, para lang dyan sa OTRA. Yun po ang instruction kasi ibigay ang best quality. So ang amin lang purpose doon, why we ask representatives to see before we release in our warehouses the quality of stocks that we gave them.
Anyway, we expect nothing less but the yung compliance from the request of the Honorable Tina Pancho. So admin, can we get a report rin? Baka pwede mag-random check yung warehouses po ninyo doon. So at least malinawan din kami, So thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Yusek Didi.
Yeah, nainggit na ako sa mga sinasabi nila because na-concentrate tayo sa rice. Sa livestock, medyo yung livestock kasi, Mr. Chair, siguro kulang kami. We want to increase the stocks, genetics, embryo. Maraming programa. So, we're appealing to the committee, especially the chair, na pansinin nyo kahit 10% lang idagdag nyo dun sa ilang pa yung rice natin, 100 million. Kahit 10% bigay nyo sa amin, kaya namin gawin yan.
Hindi ba payag yata ang PRISM?
May RTL naman sila. Marami silang kami, Mr. Chair, sariling sikap eh. Buti nandyan yung mga namin, yung mga stakeholders.
Yusek Didi, just for our knowledge, si Secretary na banggit niya naman ito, dun sa, yung concern din ninyo sa budget.
Yes, pero
yes, anyway, yeah, siguro we'll find the chance to speak to Chair Saldi. I think they had the chance to meet si Secretary Kiko and si Chair Saldi. Yes, yes.
Kailangan namin.
Yes,
like
we will
yung National
do
Livestock
that.
Program.
And we understand, we support that.
6 billion lang yun. National Livestock Program.
Malaki pa yata inspire mo na
kung mabigyan nyo ng 20, di yun. Siguro na yun, masaya lahat ang Pilipino sa 2024. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Yes, we take note of that and rest assured that we will do our best to reach out to Chair Saldi. Eksakto pa, nasa BICAM pa tayo. Thank you, Yusek Didi. Now briefly, Ma'am Weng, ito na ba yung peak ng from a private sector's perspective, is this the peak of the rice prices for the month? Within the month of December, ito na yon. Your own forecast based on
Hopefully
previous
po,
experiences?
kapag dumating yung mga imported rice, dahil wala na tayong halos sa local, hopefully po bumaba na po yung...
So we expect na pababa pa? When do we expect the bulk of the imports na padating?
Since it's actually holidays po, nagdadatingan and then magkakaroon pa ng Chinese New Year. Coming in po itong mga December and mga 3rd or 4th week ng December and 1st, 2nd ng January.
Okay. Sige, so anyway, we'll get in touch with you
Yes,
asa naman kami
maraming
dun sa ano mo, yung information that you could share with us. Thank you so much. At hand lang